So I'm here in Artist Alley, and I thought I'd take a quick look around and show everyone what there is to see here. As always, at the comic shows, there's a bunch of great artists. Here's Zia Adams, who's a colorist who does a lot of cool Betty Boop stuff, and Guy Gilchrist, who worked on a lot of the Muppets comics and such like that. And we've got an independent creator over here, Joseph Schmalke, does a lot of really cool books and prints. Johnny C. Oh, here's Will Murray, the creator of The Squirrel Girl, which is the best comic currently being printed. Unfortunately, it's coming to an end, but it's the best thing ever. Joe St. Pierre, artist of the most Spider-Man #1 issues, which is a very, very distinct and specific accolade. Mark McKenna, who worked on stuff like Deadpool and Iron Man. He's got a bunch of really cool comics and prints. Some neat stuff there. Keith Champagne. There's Charles Moisant. He's not at his table. He has some cool indie books like The Haunting Tales of Bachelor's Grove and the Roller Derby drama. You might be seeing some of those from me later. Over here is the great Barbara Freelander, who did a bunch of awesome romance comics for DC back in the 1960s. She created Swing with Scooter and some amazing sculptures here from Lawrence Ellig. He's actually making these here as we talk. He's got a knife out and is actually carving those by hand. Here's Darby Pop Publishing. It's Deadpool riding a unicorn. Just the same sort of thing you see all the time. Here's a table belonging to Jeff Schultz. Unfortunately, Jeff stepped out for a second. He does a lot of awesome stuff for Archie. Here's a bunch of original covers and artwork from his time with Archie Comics. Here's Brett Herholtz. Again, we'll be looking at some of his indie books on my Instagram feed later. Polly and Handgraves is one of the ones we'll be looking at. There's Dylan Andrews. Ken Wheaton, who's done a lot of cool books. There's just so many cool things that you can get at a comic show like this. Here's the people at HB Comics. I remember a decade ago they had the first issue of Laser Man that I saw at Boston ComicCon, and now they've got a whole line of comics. It's really cool to see indie creators being successful. Here's an awesome vendor who's got a bunch of like handcrafted wigs and headgear. And here's Keith Gleason and Mighty Mascots.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, I'm just doing a little vlog for all my social media following.
Nice. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Here's some more. Here's Russell Brutholtz. Does some Bruce Lee comics. There's some cool cosplayers. Here's some really cool paintings. And some really neat like chibi prints. And this guy does some really cool collages that are like, these really neat art displays. And then we got the people from Pyramid Knights. They have an ongoing series. They do some cool stuff, like little knit figures. And yeah, there's just so much cool stuff. Here's a bunch of pixel art. Artist Alley is just the best part of the comic shows. Really, it's Artist Alley. If you spend your time in the main room with all the pre-made merchandise, you're missing a lot of the fun. But there is still a bunch of fun stuff here in the main room, so let's just take a walk around. Of course, we got the vendors with the comics. It is a comic book show after all. But look at this, we got these cool like pocket watches and some records. And this is both the comics and a collectibles show. So there's a lot of cool collectibles here, a lot of action figures, toys, a lot of games, video games. Just a lot of neat stuff. And there are still some creators here too, though. So we got over here like Christopher Paniccia. Seen him in a few shows. He's got a series of novels that he's done. And then over here we got the people from HeroShack.com. This artist here makes some cool t-shirts. And we got Eric Radvon, who does some indie stuff and also some pro stuff. And these people have some really cool treasure boxes. And we've got all the Funko Pops, some collectible ones, some old ones, some more toys. And these guys down here have these really neat like ceramic coasters and stuff. I've tried to do this myself and I'm not very good at it. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff here. It's day 3. Fatigue is setting in. The comic creators are eating each other for sustenance. Okay, actually it's not quite that bad, but as you can see, there's some empty tables there, and as we pan around, we'll see a lot more empty tables. That's because there's a big snowstorm coming in today, and about half of the creators decided to leave early to beat the storm. But I'm sticking it out. Hardy New England folk, and there are a few people that are coming in as guests. It would really stink. Yep, there's she's not here. She's not here. There are some people here, and it would really stink for them to come all the way out here for the show and pay money and not have anyone to talk to. So we're gonna stick it out. I still have plenty of comics available. As you can see, I've still got all my prints here, and we'll see how today goes. So the snow started falling. I'm back home now. They shut the show down early out of safety concerns, but it was a really good show. You know, I had a good time. I sold a few comics, sold a couple prints, but most importantly, I got to meet a lot of cool people and share the Crime Busters with a lot of new readers who'd never seen it before. If you came out to the show, the NorthEast ComicCon, I really appreciate you stopping by my booth. And I also had a chance to get some really cool back issues and pick up some independent books from other creators like myself. So I thought I'd just end this tour by showing you some of the cool stuff that I picked up. So let's take a look at some of the other books I picked up by indie creators that you might want to check out yourself. So here's Hero Shack Sandbox number 4 by Chris Tamulovich. Like myself, Chris writes and draws and self-publishes his own comic. It's a real labor of love. It's his own personal take on the superhero genre. And this particular issue is actually a crossover with another indie creator, which is G. Henderson, who does the Pyramid Knights series. This is issue 1 of Pyramid Knights, and they actually have several issues out. You can get these at a lot of local shops here in the central Massachusetts area. I also picked up issues 2 and 3. Here's issue 2 of Mighty Mascots, and here's issue 3. It's a 3-issue limited series written by Keith Gleason, who also runs the really great Plastic City Comic-Con in Fitchburg each year. And this is a fun series from Alterna Comics about cereal box mascots that have come to life. Another cool local creator is Brett Herholtz, and he's from Marlboro. This is his comic Polly and Handgraves. He's also got some other really cool books. He's got one that's about like a zombie invasion of Wonderland, where Alice is fighting off the zombies. And so, you know, check out his work if you have a chance. He's online on Instagram. It's really fun stuff. And I also got this cool horror anthology, The Haunting Tales of Bachelor's Grove. And I got this from Chris Moissant, one of the writers and artists who is involved in creating this comic. There's several issues as a fun series if you're into the horror stuff. So those are some of the newer comics that I got from creators, but let's take a look at some of the cool back issues that I got, because I also got some neat stuff here. Here's the first appearance of Brother Voodoo in Strange Tales 169. This is a nice mid-grade copy. I got a really good deal on this, although not quite as good a deal as I got on one of the other books from the same vendor. I'll show you that last. Here's a beat-up copy of Young Love number 120, but it was only $1. I think I actually have this issue already, but hey, for $1 you can't go wrong with romance comics. Speaking of romance, here's the Secret Hearts number 89, which is a nice early mid-60s romance book. I was really excited to get this higher grade copy of Brides in Love. These Charlton books from this period, this is still 10 cents issues, so it's very early 60s. Really hard to find in nice shape. And since I'm getting married later this month, I was really happy to get this fun wedding themed cover. So here's my big purchases though. Very excited to get Girls Romances number 1. I might have overpaid a little for this, but it's not a book that you see that often. And this has some issues with the spine. The cover's almost detached, but it presents really well, and it's a really tight book, so I was happy to get this. And then my big, most exciting find of the show, it's Strange Tales number 110, first appearance of Doctor Strange, and I at one point I was trying to put together a full run of Doctor Strange, and I have most of his series up through the early 90s, the beginning of his third series, but I stalled out on collecting because I just didn't have the money to get this. Through some sort of weird cosmic convergence, though, I actually only paid $10 for this copy from a comic book dealer. I asked how much he wanted for it. He said $10. And that money basically jumped out of my wallet and ran across the room and dove into his pocket faster than I could even think about it. So anyway, I'm just really excited. Now that I have this, I can finally finish my Doctor Strange run, and it really was a great way to end the show. So thanks for watching, and adventure awaits!